What is going on, guys? Marcus here with the Reformation Woodshop, and we are back for episode 4 of Table Saw Tuesday. In the first episode, I introduced to you my table saw. In the second episode, I threw a router table in that thing. In the third episode, I showed you all the shop-made jigs I utilized to make life better at the table saw. And now, here we are at the 4th episode, and I am going to be showing you 8 things that you should spend your money on to make your experience at the table saw 10 times better. In the last video where I showed you DIY accessories, I told you that I should have put the push stick as number 1 because it's that obvious. Well, in today's video, that is number 1, the push stick. This is the end-all be-all. If you have a table saw, you have to have this. Actually, most table saws come with their own. This guy is an old, faithful Craftsman one that I've been using forever, and I absolutely love it. You need to have something to keep your hands away from the table saw blade, and that is the truth. Not only are these things specially designed to protect you and have certain parameters that very smart people have sat down and figured out, I am a firm believer that investing money into something is a good way to remind yourself that you should be using it. If you just make something out of some scrap wood, that might go in the trash after a couple of uses. Having and using a push stick is mandatory. Item number 2, the digital angle gauge. This guy is from Klein, but there are many like it. I think I have one from Wixie. These guys are awesome to make sure 100% without a doubt that your miters and your cuts and your angles are exactly what they should be. Why would the table saw be out of whack, you ask? Because it's a machine that you put through hell, that's why. There is sawdust all up in my table saw, and when I turn the blade, sometimes it doesn't go all the way where it should be. Sometimes I think I'm at a 90-degree angle, and I am in fact not. The way these digital angle gauges work is that you zero them out on your tabletop, and then you put them on your blade, and if your blade is sticking straight up at a 90-degree angle, this should read 90. If you want to take it all the way to 45, these guys are magnetic. You slap it onto your blade, rotate that blade, and you can trust that if it says 45, it is 45. Even some digital table saws like this Grizzly that I have at my job, sometimes the readouts just don't make any sense. They don't make sense. So, using something that is exact like this guy is super, super helpful. Item number 3. A lot of times I like to have something shiny and new to show you guys so that I don't look so ghetto and like I put my tools through crap, but not today. This is the micro jig gripper that I have had forever. It is busted, beat up, and dingy. I have actually cut it with the table saw a couple of times because I am a horrible tool owner and I am a bozo. The micro jig gripper is perfect for keeping your hands away from the blade while having the most stable and precise hold down on your materials. What is the difference between a regular push stick and this guy? What I just said. These guys hold with grit and strength on your materials while push sticks hold at maybe 1 or 2 points. These are a more stable and sturdy solution to push sticks. If you're not comfortable with a push stick, go with the micro jig gripper. And because I wanted to show you something nice and brand new, I got 2 of these micro jig grippers to go. These guys are smaller and they are a miniature version, but they do a great job. And they actually have a really cool feature where they come with a tape that you attach to your table saw that helps you set cuts. So if you're in the proper zone, you can see based on the color coordination of your grippers and the tape on your table saw that you are making a safe cut and you are ready to go. And just for a size comparison, here's your regular gripper, and there are your 2 gripper goes. And while I'm on the topic of micro jig, let's get straight into the next one, because micro jig makes a ton of cool stuff for the table saw, and this is not the last time you're going to see them on this list. This guy is the micro jig fit finder, and I use it as a depth gauge or a setup bar for my table saw. All you have to do is place your materials inside of this fit finder, adjust it, and lock it down tight. The lower side of your fit finder will auto set to half of the thickness. You can take it over to your table saw, run your blade down, set the thickness, and you can cut rabbets and dados super, super easy. It is a very fast way to find half thickness. If you're saying to yourself, half thickness, I need 1/8 thickness and 3/4 thickness and more, well then maybe you should be using Kreg setup bars. This is still item number 4 because these guys are so similar. This is a system of setup bars for your table saw or for your router, whatever you're using, or if you're like me, both because you have them in the same place. You can set 1/8 inch, 3/16, 1/4 inch, 5/16, 3/8, 7/16, and 1/2 inch measurements. So you take your setup bar, you bring your blade down, and that cut right there is an 1/8 inch. This is a depth of cut that is an 1/8 inch as well, and this is an 1/8 inch from the fence, if that's what you need. And now that is an 1/8 inch as well. You can check your depth, and that is an 1/8 inch depth. This is mostly for routing and stuff like that. If you're trying to get rabbets out of wood with your table saw or your router. Item number 5, and now I am realizing everything that I paid for in my shop is yellow, and I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. This is made in Taiwan. I don't know who made this, but this is a featherboard, and this is one of those items that you can get for like 10 bucks. So cheap is okay. Not everything in here has to be super expensive to be super useful. So what does a featherboard do? Featherboards are made specifically to hold material up against your fence so that you can make a safe and effective cut, so nothing will shoot back in your face. If you have a weird piece of lumber, you can utilize the featherboard to keep it tight and pressured against your fence. In the video where I showed you jigs that you could make, I showed you how to do the thin rip jig. You can utilize a featherboard in the same exact way. All you have to do is bump your material up to the featherboard, run it through the table saw, adjust your fence again and again and again, and you can get the exact same cut over and over and over again. Item number 6 happens to be one of the most expensive items on the list, but in my opinion, it's something that you really need. And if you don't want to pay the money to get it, it's something that you should probably think about making. This is the Kreg miter sled. This guy is made specifically for cutting precise angles on your table saw. Utilizing this guy for batch cuts or ripping material over and over and over again is something that it is perfect for. There are many cuts that you make on the table saw that are dangerous and that you should not ever be attempting, but with a miter gauge like this, they are very possible and very safe. This guy is 159 bucks. But like I said, super useful. It's got all the Kreg bells and whistles, obviously T-track on top with measuring tape on top to make sure you get exactly the cut you're looking for. It's got the Kreg stop block that you can put in place to hold material or lift out of the way to utilize the entire length of the miter gauge. Item number 7 is another semi-expensive item. It is $129, but it is a luxury item for your table saw. You can be like me and tack nail a couple of boards to a piece of MDF and make a quick little tapering sled, or you can cough up a little bit of money and get this micro dial tapering jig from Micro Jig. Another yellow item, and this one is for Micro Jig. So what does it do? I could probably make an entire video dedicated to this guy, but I am going to briefly show you why you need the micro dial. The micro dial tapering jig is exactly what it sounds like. It is a tapering jig made to make things like modern and beautiful legs. It is the most precise tapering jig that exists on this planet. I know, I have looked, I have searched everywhere. You can make simple tapering cuts like this one, or you can utilize it as a jointing sled as well. Any material that you have that has a rough edge, it has a bottom heel that holds wood and materials and helps to skirt them through your table saw. If you are a nerd and you know exactly which angle that you want to utilize, it has, I think they said, 118 presets you can utilize. What's great also is if you're utilizing the same taper over and over again, it has 2 memory stops that you can go back and forth and make sure you get the exact cut every single time. And if you're a smarter man than I am and you don't know the angle but you know the rise and the run of the material that you need to be cutting, you can do that too. What is great about this jig is that it is compatible with your grippers. You can attach them directly to the slide and have hands on your piece and hands on the jig. I have pushed 1/8 inch material through this guy, 1/2 inch material, and a 2x4. It can push whatever you need through your table saw with ease. If you're interested in seeing a full video breaking this guy down, let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to take it for a spin and show you guys exactly what it can do. And lastly, I wanted to end with something that is super easy to get your hands on, and it is very important for your safety. Everybody knows you have to wear safety glasses when you're running the table saw, right? You have to. That is not what I'm talking about. And although glasses are included in this selection, they're not really the main focus. I'm talking about a safety glasses holder so that your safety glasses are always right beside you. This is a very cheap accessory to end this video with so you don't feel like you've been involved in a highway robbery. And it's something that you can place all over your shop by all of your big machines so that your glasses are always with you and you are always protected. This eye mount is only $6. This might actually be the cheapest item on the list, and it's one of the most useful. I have had several eye injuries in my woodworking career, and having something right there in my face is always a good way to remind me to be using eye protection. You can get these on Amazon or fastcap.com. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And if you have any suggestions for Table Saw Tuesday of things you want me to go over, leave them in the comment section down below. See ya.